Hello and welcome to IMAGE The Motherload, the podcast for mums who work inside and outside the home. I'm your host, Dominique McMullen. I'm Image Media's editorial director and mum of 2 boys. Each week, I'm joined by a guest to talk about the realities of modern motherhood and to hopefully leave you feeling a little more seen and a little less alone. You can think of us as part of your village because we're here to lighten the load. Before we get started, I want to take a moment to thank the brands that make the Motherload possible. IMAGE The Motherload is powered by Peugeot and sponsored by Liffey Valley, Avoca, Revive Active, Optimal Advanced and Tigers Childcare. And we recorded here in the beautiful Hoxton Hotel in Dublin. My guest today is Triona McCarthy. Triona is a beauty editor, a TV presenter, an accredited esthetician, a content creator, a mum of 2, and an all-round gorgeous woman who hails from Schull, County Cork. She is someone who has worked in the media industry for many years and worn many hats, and more recently has been talking about her ADHD diagnosis, which we're going to chat about today. Triona brings the most beautiful honesty and warmth and humour to everything she does, and I am delighted to welcome her to the Motherload. Triona McCarthy.
Hello! How are you? Good to see you. I'm a ball of energy. I'm liable to say anything, but we listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, we listen.
We listen and we don't judge. Okay.
I feel like we've already started the interview. We've already been chatting. It is so nice to have you here.
Thank you. And I've already diagnosed you with ADHD as well, because that happens when you've been diagnosed yourself. You can officiate over other people and diagnose them. Actually, I was just saying last night to my husband, you know what would be a great way of making money? Opening up one of those private clinics for people that want to get diagnosed with ADHD. Because they're all getting their diagnosis very controversial. We haven't even 1 minute in and I've said something I shouldn't say. But they're making a fortune and everyone seems to get diagnosed. And because they all want the medication, I think. But
or just a reason why they feel the way they feel or they act the way they act.
I say that to my husband sometimes. I'm like, it's not me, it's my ADHD. He's like, no, I think it's called something like stupidity, I think. Selfishness, being forgetful, you know. So I think that's a very important thing to remember. If you do think you have ADHD, you know, not all your problems are going to go away just because you've got a diagnosis.
Yeah.
And here, probably controversial as well, my daughter may have ADHD. In fact, her teachers have told us, and we've kind of made the decision not to get her assessed and not to, because
why is that?
I feel like she herself is like, Mum, I don't want to have an ick, as she calls it. You know, like there's a lot of dyslexic, dyspraxic, you know, and every family is different.
Yeah.
My husband is dyslexic. Mm-hmm. My own dad was dyslexic and clearly had ADHD. My mum definitely has ADHD as well, but it wasn't invented back then, you know. And so we've all muddled our way through. That's just me now and how
the way
you
approach it.
And so some people need the assessment and need to, you know, I'm covering a lot of ground here now. Like there's, at the moment, she's fine.
Yeah.
You know, and because she comes from a family like ours, you know, she just wants, she doesn't think I think if you've had it
weird.
Yourself, you know what it's like. Like I know the things that she does. I'm like, that's exactly what I would do. Or that's exactly how I feel. Or so it's very normal.
Yeah. And she sees you role model. So she sees that as normal. That is her normal.
Whatever the bloody hell normal is.
I mean, big time air quotes over normal, especially with Triona.
Glittery ones, please. With like fireworks coming out of them. Yes, I love it.
So let's take us back a little bit.
Okay.
First of all, because even when I was doing your intro, there's so many hats that you wear. Like you know, a beauty editor and a TV presenter and an accredited esthetician, a word I always...
Do you love the way it's called beauty therapist, everyone? We've just fancied it all up.
But tell me how you even describe yourself now. Like if you're writing your bio...
Oh, for goodness sake, I find it really hard to write a bio because it doesn't naturally, like I was brought up to always like, just like sit down and stop making a show of yourself. So I find it much easier to write one for you, we'll say, or to give somebody else advice, but I can't do things for myself quite often. So I honestly feel like I'm just making it up as I go along. I have no idea. Like, I'm the type of person that if you said to me, actually today, Triona, we're going to be talking about plants. So could you come in and just tell us, about, plants and where we see them in 2026 within interiors? I'd be like, right, yeah, let's do it. I roll my sleeves up and I get stuck in and I might be anxious and nervous about it. And I might tell everyone that, and then I'll just get into it. So where are we going? See, I will also go off on tangents, just to let you know. So please, guys in the background, at any time you want to just shout tangent when I've gone way too far and I don't know where to get off. So you asked me about how do I describe myself?
Yeah.
So I kind of like, what do I mainly do? Like nowadays, nobody reads. Nobody watches TV.
Content creator
has a phone.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I say that I'm a shop girl on Instagram. A lot of people don't like that. They're like, no, I'm a content creator. You're not. You're selling. Like, that's why you're on Instagram. If you're not on there selling something, it's a shopping channel. That's what it is.
That's so true.
That's how we shop.
I've never thought about it like that, but yeah.
It absolutely is. Why else would you be on it?
Yeah.
Like, I think the true elite now are people that don't have to do Instagram. Like, they don't have to, and I'm more intrigued by people that are have a bit of mystique about them, don't have social media. I want to know about them, because now we're in a world where everyone is telling you everything about themselves all the time.
So true.
And so, yeah, I'm kind of more into the people that, and then I'll go in a deep dive and want to find out crazy stuff about people that, and also you can't believe anything you see.
No.
My mother's famous line is, never believe anything you read in the newspaper, especially if my daughter has written it. But it's like that online as well. Like,
big time.
So like, what can you believe? There is so much fake news out there.
Yeah.
And I find that difficult with my children. Like last night, I was putting my little boy to bed last night and he was like, oh, I want to tell you a rhyme we're making up today about Epstein and Bill Clinton. I was like, what?
Oh my God.
And he was like, yeah, we were just, making up a rhyme about how, beware, Epstein's about to get you and Bill Clinton. Sorry, that's probably not even going to air because I probably can't say things like that. But this is what 12-year-olds are talking about in the playground, They know about these things,
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm not sure. I'm looking at you and I'm like, am I supposed to back out of this
No.
cul-de-sac, not saying these things, or keep going?
No,
I'll have a
it's
little cup of coffee
shocking.
and I'm going to allow you to ask me something else. Did I even answer the question?
You did.
Okay.
You did. Yeah. And I'm going to ask you a bit later on because I think it's really interesting as such an online person that you are to have feelings like that about not wanting to be online. But we're going to put a pin in that.
Okay.
And we're going to go back. I want to hear about your childhood. I want to hear about beautiful Skull, growing up in Cork.
The Irish Riviera,
yes.
as I like to call it.
Yes. I want to hear about that.
I grew up in Skull in West Cork, yeah. I'm the eldest girl of 8 children.
Wow.
My mum was 19 when she married my dad, who was 31. They were going out with each other from when she was 16. And he was whatever 11 years older is. I think that's called grooming now, isn't it? It's been, it wasn't known as that years ago. But I know she was a very young mum.
Yeah.
And so, and my dad was that bit older. And so she found out she was pregnant with me on her 21st birthday. So I started ruining her life from 21. So So yeah, 4 boys and 4 girls. My mum always said she planned it that way. And so I grew up on a farm where most people have dolls and toy kitchens to play with. I had a real kitchen and I had real babies that I was looking after all the time, because when you're the eldest girl and there's so many children. And then my dad was he was a workaholic. Like he had, like, it was all about him, his work. We were like way down the line.
He was a farmer.
Dairy farmer.
Hard work.
He had a machinery business. it was just go, go, go. Like I used to wake up on a Saturday and go, oh my God, it's Saturday. Because it was like, you got to rest when you went to school. It was lovely going to school. But that's just how it was though.
It was life.
Like my brothers had it a lot harder. They had to work outside on the farm doing really hard work. And we were like the little women inside making the dinner for the men. The men had to be fed first of all. They had to eat in the middle of the day because they were doing really hard work.
Yeah.
And so it was hard work. It really was. Like I can cook a dinner for 20 people.
Really?
Yeah. Irish stew, no bother. Mince. And, but I hate doing it because I'm traumatized. If my mother's now, I'm not traumatized, but like it was hard going growing up.
It teaches you a lot of good lessons about life as well, though.
Well, I was thinking about this because I was thinking you're going to ask me about motherhood and I was late to motherhood and all that. But I think that's possibly why I was late to motherhood because,
you felt like you'd already been there.
I'd brought up a whole family already. I couldn't wait to get a break from it. And I didn't have any romantic notions about, babies because I had been through it all. And I always remember my mum leaning over and kissing my dad when I was about 12. And I was like, Mum, I think you look pregnant in that dress. And she was like, well, what if and this was like, there was 7 of us at this stage. And she was like, well, what would you say if I said I was? And I was like, no, Mom, no. I was like, because Laura was like nearly 3 and we'd actually given away all our stuff, all the baby stuff. And I thought, we're at the easy stage. I'm 12, imagine. And I was like, oh, here we go again, back into nappies and bottles. And I remember going out and telling my brother Aidan, who was 2 years younger than me. And I was like, wait till you hear Mum is pregnant again. He was like, wait till I tell Dad about this. As if Mum had just done it to herself again. Wait till I tell Dad about this.
That's very funny.
But so yeah, I came into motherhood. I often hear people describing motherhood as being like such a shock to them, or I'm like, I only have 2 children. It's a walk in the park. And I kind of knew all that was going, I knew about, late nights and early mornings and nappies and looking after them all the time. Like it all naturally kind of came back to me.
Yeah.
And I like children as well, I suppose. And my husband, he had never held a baby in his hands till he held our son. And actually, weirdly, people always think, because he's 6 years younger than me, and I was 38 when I met him, and I had Maxie when I was nearly 40.
Okay.
And people always think that, oh, clearly I got myself pregnant straight away. I actually was kind of thinking, you know what, maybe I won't have children. It was never my ambition to have children. I think that quite often happens when you come from a big family. Mm-hmm. The stress and strain and, I split up from my last boyfriend and I was like, you know what, I'm nearly 38 now and maybe I'm just not going to, and I aligned myself with my friends who didn't have children. It wasn't the worst. Like,
it's a nice life.
Really, like, it's okay not to have children as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then I met him and he was only 31, but it was a deal breaker for him. He wanted children kids straight away. Mm-hmm. And he was like, you got to get going on this straight away. And I was like, ooh, full 360, but as I said, I can always roll up my sleeves and get stuck in, roll up my sleeves and roll down no, we won't even say, no, that's it. Oh my God. Are we going anywhere with how you planned this? Are we going all over the place? Okay.
Yes, this is fascinating. And to have a baby at 40, 12 years ago, I mean, now it's actually like, I don't know, maybe it was normal 12 years ago as well, but it feels very normal to have a baby at 40 now. Did it feel like that then?
Probably wasn't as much. I always remember somebody writing in the newspaper after or somewhere that young mum, Triona McCarthy, and what they meant was new mum. My mother was like, do you see that? They're calling you a young mum, because they weren't used to young mums being 40 almost.
Yeah.
But when I had Maxie almost 13 years ago now. I'm really bad with dates and times and figures and all that.
Me too, big time.
Oh, You definitely have ADHD as well. But anyway, we've put a pin in it. But there was a woman up there, had Maxie in Mount Carmel. And there was a woman there who I think was 53. And she had twins.
At 53?
At 53.
Wow.
And she had bought her egg in America. No notion of what all that meant. It was so, but I was quite fascinated with her because she had pink marabou slippers on when we go into the nursery. And she, the Cartier love bracelets.
Oh, wow.
That I'd only ever seen on
Movies.
Magazines or,
Yeah.
I was like, if she's up there, let me know. I wanted to be her friend. I was fascinated. She had it was her second husband. Oh my God. Well, Mount Carmel's gone now, so they can't come and get me. I shouldn't even be saying these things, but let me say, yeah, she had a younger husband and she had a son already, I think, who was about 30 something. And the husband
Good for her.
Yeah. But I remember like saying to the nurses, tell me more now about your one.
Tell me all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
you had a really glam life up till that point. You did. I know you did. I know for a fact. I've heard
from that
stories.
generation where you play everything down and you must not be seen to be showing off, even though I'm a Leo. I love showing off. But
Show
anyway,
off.
Yeah.
This is the place to do it.
Okay.
You had great fun. You had a very fun, like you were traveling all over the place, going to shows and meeting incredible A-list celebs and having all the fun. I mean, tell me if it wasn't fun. It looked like fun.
Absolutely. It was so much fun, even more fun years ago because there was no social media. So you had to go to I was a fashion buyer for many years and I would go to, sometimes I'd be the only Irish person or Irish journalist or in New York, we'll say. Yeah. And it was before cameras were allowed in, like in the magazines, they had people that would do the sketches and,
New York Fashion Week.
Yeah. This is how far we're going back now. And so you could write things like, so you went to the shows in February, but you wouldn't write about them till September because it would be autumn, winter. So you had 6 months to now, you're watching stuff and it's instantly being streamed to Sandra in Sandymount on her sofa seeing what I'm seeing. It's incredible. It's so different now.
Yeah, different
world.
It was
all, again, more mystique. You weren't allowed to say what was coming in until the September issue came out as well.
Mad.
And it was... Now it's like press strips are so different. It's like you are working your butt off to, advertise for these people. Don't get me wrong, I still love doing it. But I just think I was killed years ago to write the bloody article. That's the easy part now, It's all the social media and the editing and the, I never wanted to be a graphic designer or a video editor like you guys over there. But you have to, again, you just have to learn how to do these, roll up your sleeves and get stuck into it. And
so it must have been a bit of a change then, going from all of that to motherhood, or was it?
Not really. I think because I was 40, having Maxie, I remember 5 weeks after I had him, I was booked to do a press strip and I could not get out of it. So I found out on the Friday I had to go on the Monday morning. So I was exclusively breastfeeding him.
Wow.
And I was like, oh God, okay, I better do this. And so I'm breastfeeding him and then I'm trying to get used to using a pump and try and get milk into the freezer as well. And, but I did it. And then I went to Paris for 2 days, I think it was. And I forgot the end of the pump.
Oh no.
And so I remember I was in the Mandarin Oriental in Paris in a loo, pumping away. Even when I was on the flight going over, I had to pump because I had started pumping so much because I was feeding and
Too
pumping.
Much.
It was like,
you had an oversupply.
And actually I remember as well, I remember coming out of the loo and this funny noise and a woman being like, and had this thing, she was like, what? It's your one. You're being guilty hitting me. And what is she doing? This very shishi Paris hotel. And I remember as well doing a job maybe 3 or 4 weeks after having Maxie in Brown Thomas, where I fed him in the morning. This is when you'd be feeding every 4 hours.
Yeah.
And putting him down, getting a taxi into town, doing this job, but it ran over. And you can see in the video where my top is getting.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And then your boobs are getting harder and harder. But I chose to do that as well. Like I did, it's not I didn't take maternity leave. Like I worked till the morning. I had Maxie and then I had him on a Friday. I still filed copy. You couldn't like file stuff, you couldn't, what's it called, stack it before.
Yeah,
I had to
you had to hit your deadlines on the time.
But I chose to do that as well. It wasn't, I think because my mum had to work so hard when she was young with so many children, businesses and different things going on.
Yeah.
I have that attitude, I'm choosing to do this. But that works for me. I don't know, would I be good if I wasn't busy? I have to be busy.
Okay.
Otherwise I'd be in the bar over there going,
glug, glug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to. And other people take their maternity leave and they really enjoy it. Like I created my own world where I work from home and my children have always seen me working at home. I've got them involved in work. Like they've been, Maxie, when he was around one time when Maxie was born, Prince George was born. And so again, I did a job where I was working on expose all the time, a TV show that was on daily. And so they were like, can we do something about, and we'll actually get Maxie to model some clothes. It was from Brown Thomas again. And he's out in the garden, pretending he's Prince George. He's 6 months old.
So cute.
But, I've done that with them from when they were, but we were always involved in work with my dad as well. So it's like an extension. I think you end up doing what you know, don't you, in a way?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure other people will listen to this and go, oh my God. But that's how it works with us. Like my little boy who's 12 now, he makes custom PCs. He buys old broken bits of computers on Vinted and online, fixes them.
Wow.
And then custom makes computers and then sells them. Like it's like, but he loves that and it keeps him busy. And, my dad used to do that with tractors and, he just...
He's got that brain.
He's just, he enjoys doing it. But like sometimes when somebody comes and knocks on the door and they're like, hi, we're here to see Maximilian. And this 12-year-old walks out and they're like, one guy said to me, it felt like I was in a movie that this child that I've been dealing with to buy, and it's,
that's
it's not illegal what I'm talking about now, but,
what a brain though.
But he enjoys that. He's, and
there's a work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a work ethic? It's just a way of life, maybe. Or
I don't built-in love.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be able to find something that you love to do, whether it's Maxie or you or, or Minnie, I presume as well.
She's flat out vinting. She's on Vinted now with all her old clothes. Because I'm like, if you want new clothes, you better figure out how to pay for them. And, you can get something for your birthday or for Christmas. You can't just decide you don't like it anymore.
It's great.
When I was young, I had to just keep wearing the bloody pink rah-rah skirt, even though it had gone out of fashion. I didn't have those tools.
Yeah.
If you want to go and, use Vinted. And so she's photographing and figuring all that out.
That's great.
But it's kind of like, I feel like kids don't play with toys as much as they used to. My children are 11 and 12.
Yeah.
So... it's like sometimes people are like, why is your daughter wearing mascara or putting her hair, I'm like, because she goes to ballet and she is really into tying her hair back and slicky, we kind of did that as well. Like I did gymnastics for years.
Yeah.
God knows what we were rubbing into our heads. And we used to go to the pound shop and there was a range called Constance Carroll. And it was, honestly, it would tear the lips off you, the stuff that we would, I was in boarding school. We went to bed with full face of pseudocreme. I didn't even have spots, but it was just, we all did it.
That's what you do. Yeah.
When we weren't drying banana skins under our mattresses, because somebody said you could get high smoking dried banana. Yeah. And I did it. I was that idiot.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I remember once dipping my hair into bleach, like actual toilet bleach, to dye my hair blonde in Irish college.
Use Jolene on the front of her hair. To get like long before Jerry Spice, Sexy Spice. What was she called? Was she Sexy
Ginger
Spice? Ginger Spice, yeah, because I didn't think you were allowed to say sexy.
I think she was sexy, but we didn't call her that.
I think some people called her that. Yeah, we used to dye the front with Jolene.
Can you imagine?
And then you'd wrap it in tin foil and then you'd put the hairdryer over it. The hairdryers were like little asthmatic mice. Like that.
Little asthmatic mice. Oh,
where are we going with this? I need to calm down. I shouldn't be drinking coffee. Have I made any sense here yet?
You have. What I think is really interesting when you're talking about doing something you love and not taking maternity leave and, you know, like breastfeeding in the toilets and moving between the role of mom and the role of like glam life. I know maybe it didn't feel like that, but like from the outside, a lot of people would say, you know, it's a clash that is really difficult to, and they'd really struggle with going back to work and being a mom and that those early stages and that they don't mesh together well. But it seemed to just naturally happen for you.
Because I didn't do that. I didn't take any time off.
Yeah.
I'd never felt that, and I hear people talk about this as well. I absolutely have empathy for all of that.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't my situation.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, I used to bring Maxie with me to meetings even. I remember going to meet, what's her name from Made in Chelsea? She has a funny name, Binky.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just have to bring with me if you want me to go to this lunch.
Yeah.
No, you can't bring 2 babies with you. That's not cool. But, you know,
But
it was such a kind of novelty.
Yeah.
But there weren't really things like what you guys do at your Motherload live events. There was... Certainly, I didn't know anything about those. I never really did mother and baby groups either.
Yeah.
And my friends weren't having babies at the same time as me. So I was never in kind of a gang or I was kind of just doing my own thing. So yeah, I feel like when you were asking me to do this, I was like, oh my God, am I going to say anything of any relevance to anyone? Because everyone probably has a different way of formatting their life, whereas
they do.
Yeah.
But your way of formatting your life is so interesting. And I think it's actually the future. I think that, you know, obviously every situation is different and every person will require different things. But I think, you know, we see more and more now babies coming to meetings and work being more flexible and allowing people to move in and out more easily of that mum and work space. You know, now some people need them to be very clearly defined and different. But like certainly I know from my own personal experience, it makes my life a whole lot easier if I can move in and out of the work and motherhood space because it's more natural.
And even with like Will took half a day off, did he, when I had Maxie?
Oh my God.
He went back to work. And then with Minnie, I think he dropped me in. And then did he go and do a bit of work? He works in an office and then he came back for the birth. And he didn't bother taking any. Isn't there leave for men now as well?
Yeah, which is really important.
No, he didn't. He was like, and he was grand. He was going into work. He was, you know. Actually during COVID, because he was considered an essential worker. But I found out he actually could have worked from home. But I actually thought maybe it's best that he doesn't see just how low productivity can be sometimes, you know, what actually goes on. Because Will works out of the house. He leaves at about 7:30 and he's back about 5:30 to make dinner.
Lovely.
And it is at 5 o'clock. We're like, okay, everyone, gather up, tidy dinner. And it's like, we're like, you know, Will often says he's like a single dad with 3 children. He's got the eldest, the teenager, and then he's the 2 younger ones, you know, because I'm like an extra child sometimes, but it works because.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
So he goes out to work. I'm working and minding children and doing all the stuff during the day. And then he comes home and he'll make dinner. And I allow him to have that time with the children while he's making dinner to do the homework as well.
You're very generous.
You need to see your children while, you know. And my mother thinks this is dreadful. He's been out work. I've been working as well. And he's coming home and making the dinner. I gave them their lunch, you know.
Oh, so listen.
But that's more my mum's generation.
It is.
You know?
It's a very different frame of mind. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So, because my dad, there was 8 children. He never changed one nappy. He was very proud of that as well. And he did know, he called me Kate, even though my name is Triona.
Did he know your name was
Which one are you again? I bring home from school. What? Where are you now? Now, my mother says he was only codding me. But there were a lot of children. He was very busy. And you wonder why I am the way. I clearly lacked attention as a child. Let's blame the parents for everything.
Yeah, it's always
it's not me, it's my childhood. And my ADHD. And my...
I love it. As a mum, the reality is we spend a lot of time in the car, whether that is juggling the kids or work or something in between. You need a car that's going to make life easier. The other Image mums and I recently test drove the Peugeot 3008 and 5008, and we were genuinely so impressed. The 3008 SUV is a perfect combination of style and practicality, and the 5008 has so much space, including 7 seats if you need it. Both cars have so much space, in fact. You can fit car seats and sports gear and school bags and everything in between, and they are both full of so much innovative tech. Whether you have babies or toddlers or teens, Peugeot has thought of everything. When life gets busy, you need a car that can keep up, and Peugeot just gets it. Let's get back to the show. So did you ever have childcare, or were you always minding?
So my mum was incredible.
Oh,
she really was. She kept all the way from Skull, which is a 5, sometimes 6. Yeah. She was incredible. She really was. And I could not. So I was very lucky. She would be there and she would stay with us. And I was 16 when I did my leaving cert and moved away. I moved to London initially. And I say that to my son sometimes. I'm like, do you think you could live in London when you're 3 years from now? And I say that sometimes to I brought them to Italy recently and we're on the plane. And I was like, my first time on a plane, I was 16. I'd never been on a plane and I had never left the country. And it was hard enough to get out of the county. Cork is the largest county, by the way. I was brought to Dublin when I was 11 and that was it. And I went to Dungarvan one time when I was 10 or something. And my daughter then is looking up airport outfits inspo. And they've been
amazing,
so many places. And I'm like, we didn't even have, we had a TV, but there wasn't time to watch it. I barely didn't know what was happening when I did, but I was a great bluffer. I was pretending that I owned the plane for God's sake and that I'd flown loads of times. But I had never been on a plane, had never even seen,
amazing.
But I've made up for lost time. I've been around the world about 1 million times. But
how was London at 16? It must have been quite frightening for you. London is a big place for a 16-year-old from Cork.
I went with my boyfriend and again, it was just like the unknown, and an adventure and just figuring out, not even figuring out, I didn't know what we were doing. I just knew that I wanted to move away and I wanted to go to London and I wanted the bright lights in the big city. I couldn't understand why people wanted to live in Skull. Now I get it. I wanted concrete jungle. I wanted traffic lights. I thought they were so exotic. I wanted, just now I see Skull through older eyes. And I see how my children love being down there because they grew up in a city.
You spent summers down there, do you?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I'm so lucky. I have loads of family down there. And I always say to my children, this is your time now to do everything that I can't do with you during the school year. You can go horse riding, we can go kayaking, we could go swimming, sailing. So always bring us swimming during the week. I'm like, I don't have time. You can do it. Knock yourselves out for the summer because we've we can go to the beach every day. We can.
Yeah.
So from the end of June to last week of August, we are in Skull. And it's wonderful because you can village life is so different. My mum lives in the middle of the town. If we want to go to the library, I go, well, we go to the library and we stand up and we walk out the door and we go to the library.
Amazing.
I can't seem to do that in Dublin. It's where we go, will we get the bus, will we get the list, will we get an Uber, will we, what library will we go to? And, whereas it's just a different way of life.
Do you work when you're down there? Or you
I can work. I'm always working, but never working.
Yeah.
So I can do everything on my phone.
Yeah.
I can record an ad. I can make content out of whatever's going on. I can take phone call. I can I work all the time with people around me and my children. And, you know, I only know, I work well in chaos. I don't, like, I've never worked in an office. Would you allow me work in an office with you? I wouldn't be good at that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like my dad created his own world. He couldn't have worked for somebody else. I feel like my children are going to be kind of similar. And as you said, I think that's the way the world is working. We can do so much now.
Yeah.
If you have a phone, you can, you know, it's your window to the outside world. You can do anything you want. You can learn anything you want. You
Absolutely.
can, you know, there's everything at the push of a button, you know, you can figure everything out. Like I tell my children, we used to have to go to the library and get an encyclopedia out. And, you know, or my mother bought the Britannica encyclopedias. They were the pride of place in the sitting room. Yes.
Yeah.
But they only went as far as tea. Like we never got the rest for some reason.
The salesman never came back.
I don't know what happened. And we used to have to take them down and put them back in and to dust them and polish them. And
so funny.
The Guinness Book of World Records as well. I always thought I'd be in that. Maybe I will still. I don't know.
Trina, I reckon you could be in the Guinness World Book of Records. We can figure out a way to get you in. Goodness. My little 6-year-old actually just got one of them, a Guinness I keep saying it wrong, a Guinness Book of World Records. They still make them.
Yeah.
And I was such a trip down memory lane. I remember so well being a kid and being fascinated by all the pages.
Still gets one for Maxie, my
lovely.
son. Yeah. And he loves it. And he's quite fascinated and trying to figure out what thing can he be in the Guinness Book of World Records for. Yeah. He probably will.
He probably will. Knowing him, if he's building computers,
how he came out of my body, sometimes I'm like.
Tell me what it's like parenting tweens. I mean, that is an age group I know very little about.
Well, the Minnie's basically an extension of me. She is, there's a lot of talk of trainer bras, puberty.
Is that tough? I feel no. Like the thought of having those conversations with my 6 and 4-year-old.
We I dress very like my 11-year-old daughter. We go to the same place. We like the same music. Yeah. I'm doing clock it, clock it, clock it. Do you know about this?
No.
All right, clock it, clock it, clock it. Like we both like Tate McRae. I was saying, feel like I should have been called Tate McRae. We watched the same. I've just watched The Summer I Turned Pretty with her. I was more excited about it than her. We started to watch a little bit of Stranger Things. Like it's grand. Like,
yeah. Are they starting to pull away from you at all? Is there any like, no thank you, mum, go away?
I am probably quite needy. If I'm hungover, I'm really needy. I'm like, come over and tell your mother how much you love her. And they're like, oh, mum, calm down, cop on. I think I'm doing a very good job of teaching my children how to drink when they're older. Because I was thinking about that as well. My parents didn't drink.
Oh, at all?
So my mum never has ever drank. And then my dad only at weddings and christenings. And there wasn't really alcohol in the house that much, you know. Mm-hmm. And so I literally did not learn how to drink. Whereas my husband was having little sips of wine from when he was quite, you know, in his teens, we'll say. And I still I only knew binge drinking and had didn't know what it was and started drinking quite young.
Yeah, it's
tough. We're veering into really weird areas here. But I like that my children see how people drink so that they know how not to do.
Yeah, how to manage it.
Yeah. Because I never knew that. Like I'm still learning. Like my husband will say, will you just sip and stop gulping? Again, that's my ADHD, I realized as well. But because it sends our brains crazy.
Yeah.
But I was saying that to my husband the other night. I was like, I feel like our children will have a very healthy respect for alcohol and they will have learned how not to drink.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And me being this hungover, I'm teaching them.
It's a sacrifice.
Really important lessons here, you know.
Yeah.
But because I never saw alcohol and I was 60. I was gone by the time I was 16.
Yeah. It's funny. I I've never thought about that before. I mean, we don't really, I've stopped drinking in the last year or so because I couldn't handle it.
I can't deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I think, like, I'm turning 40 this year. I think when you get a little bit into your 40s, it's just like, no, the hangovers are not worth it anymore.
Well, look at you discovering that at 40. I'm 53 this summer. And I'm still only learning these things, you know. Actually, you're asking me what it's like 53. Having tweens. Like, we're all hormonal. I am clearly menopausal, and they're at the start of their journey, and I'm at the very end. Like, my daughter will go, if I say, "Oh, Helen's coming up for a coffee," my daughter will go, "Oh, are you going to talk about your hormones again?" And like, they're sick of hearing about hormones and menopause. And
but sorry, that's a good education for them as well. Hearing about that.
I'm very open about everything. It's great. Actually, my daughter was cleaning her room the other night, or I came in and I was like, look at the state of this room. Will you, that, you know? And she's like, oh, Mom. I was like, what's wrong with you? And she said, I think I have the menopause. Because she thinks the menopause is when you're just like, oh, everything's on top of me and all, you know. And I was like, no, you can't have the menopause. You're 11. Oh, for God's sake. So, I know.
I love it. Sorry, that is great though, that she knows that's what it is. Yeah. Menopause is. Oh.
Yeah. And because my mother maintains there was no such thing as menopause. They didn't have time to have the menopause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And whereas my daughter, if I'm like moody or being a little bit, you know, passive aggressive, I'm really passive aggressive lately. That is my hormones. But it's not me, I swear. And she'd be like, you're supposed to be menopausal, but I think you're on your period. And she does talk with a slight American accent. Oh my God. Probably too much screen time on YouTube and all that. We won't even get into that. But
no.
All children now speak with a lot of children.
Sorry, my 6-year-old occasionally refers to the trash or the sidewalk. And I'm like, come here. We're not saying trash. Yeah. We're not saying sidewalk.
I draw the line at diapers. I'm like, where are you? Nobody in Ireland says, or sometimes you hear them saying dollars. And I'm like, where the hell do you think you are?
Oh, it's all dollars. Yeah, all dollars.
If my daughter says cookies, I'm like, they're biscuits because your mother is from Cork and we say biscuits, okay? Like cookies. That seems to be way down the line of okay now.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Diapers, trash, garbage, no. Awesome, no.
Awesome.
We're Irish. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But I find myself saying a lot of American words now as well. I have been putting things like I'm super tired. I'm like,
I say that. Yeah.
And you're like,
that was super fun.
Yeah. I'm like, I really am dumbing down.
We all are.
Yeah.
It's collective, I think.
Absolutely.
It's that Uno world that we're all meshing into one. Yeah.
That's so funny because you're saying about tweens. So my daughter sounds very bougie now, but we were skiing. Because it was far from skiing I was raised when I was young, never went skiing. But I was like, I want to bring them skiing when they're young, so they'll be really good at it. And my daughter met a lovely girl on the slopes in the French Alps who was from Sydney. And they're the same age. And they have all the same reference points. Sol de Janeiro. You know, they were able to bond over their beauty stuff that they love.
Yeah.
And then I have my 2 best friends live in America. And their children are able to talk to my children about all the same stuff.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Like, there's no difference now. Like, when I was growing up, all my aunties lived in England, and I would read stuff in magazines, and I'd be like, they go to this place called, what was it, Warehouse and Miss Selfridge, and I cut out things and send them a letter to, you know, and they would buy them and send them home. My dad, because my dad worked back and forth in England all the time as well.
Yeah, even the UK was a different planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to hear about kind of the house and how you kind of run on a day-to-day basis in the house. Is it hectic? For audio viewers, there was a big mouth squeeze there.
Oh yeah, I forget that okay. How is it? So I like, my husband is he's a wonderful man. I know that's so cheesy to say that, you know, you really love your husband, but I really do. And I don't know what I'd do without him. He is the person that keeps it all together. And he is, he's much more structured in his life. So he always gets up at the same time. And he's always so jolly in the morning. I am an absolute, like, it takes me so, he always says, why does it take you by surprise every morning when you wake up that you have 2 children that you have to get ready for school? It's like, what's going, and so my children are very independent, though. They do things for themselves, and they always have since they were very young. They don't have a school uniform. They dress themselves. They make their breakfast. Like, it's not hard.
Amazing.
But they've done that since they were very young. And they, like, if they don't understand how to keep their rooms tidy, this is, it's very easy to just go and pick up the stuff and tidy it all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing them a disservice. They need to learn how, because then they'll always have somebody else to do something for them.
Yeah.
You have to be, you have to look after your own stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And this is your space. You need to look after this. You need to get your, I never am joking saying things like, oh, it's me and my ADHD. I'm responsible for me and everything that happens to me.
Yeah.
And they must feel the same.
That's a great attitude to have. Yeah. I think that's really important.
Like, if they're missing their hockey gear, I'm like, why didn't you get it out last night? Go and get, so they quickly learn, and they're very independent. They've been getting the bus to school lately. It's only like a 20-minute walk, but the rain has been really bad. So I was like, do you want a leap card and do you want to go on the bus? So the 2 of them now, it's only like 2 stops up the way.
It's great.
And they're great and they love it, the sense of adventure. And I'm like, am I supposed to? I better tell Will that I'm letting them go. Because I was like, I don't want to get wet as well. Yeah. You guys go. And so they walk, they cycle, they now get the bus.
Great.
And so that's morning time, they're gone. And then that's my window to scroll through Instagram and look at Net-a-Porter and the Outnet, what's new, and my Teresa. I do that, though. It's for my work.
Of course.
And then
essential.
So that's my window to do if I have meetings in town, I need a deadline to get anything done.
Yeah.
And I work really well. If somebody rings me in the morning and says, could you do this thing? I can do it straight away.
Oh,
no bother.
Yeah.
I can't do something if you tell me we need to do that in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, me too.
But I've learned something, though. If somebody tells me they want me to do something in 3 weeks' time, the dopamine hits me and I'm like, woo, and I'm full of ideas at that moment. And that's when I'll do the bulk of the work.
Yeah.
And then I'll do nothing.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks. And then the night before, when it's meant to be in, it's been marinating, though, or it's, So I've learned to not beat myself up so much about that. I figured out that is just how I work.
That's your process.
So then my children finish school about 2:30, 3. I make them lunch. And then I can do some work I have an office in the garden, which I rarely go into. It's easier to just, sometimes I need the people around me to do stuff as well. And then I do kind of houseworky things then maybe. And then, as I said, Will comes home at 5:30. They do their homework with him. And then we always eat dinner together. It's really important that we all sit together and eat dinner.
That's really nice.
And we chat about, like, what made you giggle today? What's been going around your head? Tell me something funny that happened. And there's lots of giggles and laughs and fun. Like, we're all fire signs. So I'm a Leo, Will's Sagittarius, Maxie's Aries. People now listen to this are going, oh my God, we thought she was cray already. What's she going on about now? And Minnie is Sagittarius. So we literally all get on like a house on fire. We're very compatible. And we love hanging out with each other. And
that's so nice.
So cheesy. If I was listening to me, I'd be like, oh my goodness, is this, what is this person like? But I love sitting down.
That's so nice.
And
it's
chatting
so special
about our day and what's gone on. And then, what are we doing now? It's just really good to sit down and have that time.
Yeah.
We always do it no matter what. And
so amazing to have that non-negotiable.
Yeah.
And to decompress as a family and chat. We're not there yet. We're definitely not there yet.
What age are your children again there?
4 and 6.
No,
Can't get them to sit at a table.
Yeah.
Just sitting at a table is tough at the moment.
They will.
They'll get there.
Yeah.
They'll get there. But at the moment, it's like, they sit and then they run off and then they're doing something and then they're back and then they, they're just full of beans. They just need to move a lot.
Yeah. See, do you know what? Because I'm so menopausal, I can't remember anything. So I'm sure my children were like that. But right now I'm like, no, my children were never like
that. They're perfect. They were always perfect.
They weren't. Well, we've always done the thing as well where we all eat the same food as well. We never did like baby food or anything or separate, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that was helpful as well. Even though my son became vegan for a short time, we're like, what? Because he really loved animals and he didn't want to eat anything with eyes.
That's really
we all
nice.
had to become vegan as well, you know.
Yeah.
And my brother, a dairy farmer and a beef farmer, you know.
Oh, God.
And that went down well with him.
Yeah.
But we figured it all out. As we always do.
As you always do.
You can figure everything out and everything is a stage. I always think if you were to ask me anything about parenthood, what I figured out is that everything is a stage. And just when you've got through that stage, another one comes hurtling down the road at you. And it's grand. It all works itself out.
Just got to really roll with the punches.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's get into the ADHD.
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
Because have you been officially diagnosed? You were diagnosed very recently.
No, when I was 35.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a long time ago.
Still later in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I found out, my sister had just died, and Trisha, yeah,
she was only 30.
Yeah. So
I'm so sorry for that loss.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I had been engaged to somebody I'd met quite around that time. That split up. We'd all been living in Ireland when my sister had been ill, and when she died, everything kind of changed. And
of course,
then I split up with your man. My mum, did she go to Australia? My sister was in America. My other sister was in Australia. And so I kind of was like on my own, having been in this very intense period where my sister was sick, and that was our main focus all the time. It was like an arrow pointing towards my sister.
Was she sick for a very short period of time?
She got sick when she was 26. She got breast cancer, and she fought really hard, and like I'm here doing the motherload, like all she wanted to do was be a mum and have children. And she was also like my best friend, you know, she was my sister next to me. And my other two sisters are 10 years and 13 years younger than me.
Big
and
gap.
They're like millennial kids, whereas we had nothing when we were growing. But we were more similar, we'll say, you know.
Yeah.
And
she was an artist.
She was an artist, and she worked with the HSCs, an art therapist. And we still have loads of her art around the house, and we talk about her all the time.
Do
like,
you?
If the door suddenly blasts open by mistake, or, you know, I'll be like, Minnie, my daughter, will go, oh, Auntie Trisha's here, you know, like we say daft things like that. But I like keeping her. That's how you keep somebody alive.
Of course.
You know, they've never met her. But actually, Maxie was born on her birthday 2 years after she died.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was, I know.
Goosebumps.
People are like, but you made that happen because you had a C-section. No, I didn't. You can't just go, okay, can you impregnate me now so that in 9 months' time, you know, like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
So where am I going with this? ADHD. So I got diagnosed after my sister had died. I actually, now in hindsight, I suppose I had a little bit of, I don't know if you'd even call it a nervous breakdown. I didn't know what a nervous breakdown was, but like, everything had gone to shit in my life. And I was 37, and my voice had got really low. Like, and wow. I could, when I used to get out of bed in the morning, I used to have to like roll over because I couldn't, but that's your body keeping score of what, apparently you carry all your emotions in your back. And like I was telling everyone, I'm fine, because I'm a people pleaser. But really I was falling apart. And I remember my friend, Kathy O'Connor, the stylist, she was like, you need to see a grief counsellor. And I was like, oh, really? And so she got me the name of somebody. And then my friend Katrina Hanley, who sadly passed away recently.
I'm so sorry.
We were best friends. We were in college together, fashion college together. And she came and picked me up and brought me. And I had to borrow the money off her to go and see this grief counsellor. And I go in and I'm like, I need to talk to her about, you know, my sister, I thought. And she ended up kind of asking me all these things, you know, and and kind of telling me, has anyone ever talked to you about ADHD? Or like, she could see it straight away.
Really? Wow.
And I remember coming out and Katrina picking me up, and I'm going, oh, not only I've got ADHD now, and I just paid her €100. Like, I felt bad enough going in, and now she's after telling me this. I'm like, oh my God, if I was depressed beforehand, I'm even worse now, Because I was like, this is so embarrassing.
No.
But at the time, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It was mortifying because I felt like I was freelance and self-employed, and already people thought I was like, oh, Trina's, this and that. If only Trina could just learn to not, she's so extra. She's so,
Yeah.
And so I just put my head in the sand and didn't tell anyone because it was so embarrassing to me. There wasn't the kind of chat around it now.
Yeah. It's a different type of world.
It really was. Like, it was, people just did not understand what it was. I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah.
So it was easier for me just to, I got properly diagnosed and everything after that. But I just didn't want to. I think I was so old at that stage, years ago. I had learned my own coping mechanisms. I had trained myself to be the way that I was. I did try medication again recently, because when you're menopausal and you have ADHD, that's a complete shit show.
Double whammy.
All your stuff that you think you're able to deal with, it's all kind of goes off kilter.
When you say that, can you give me more detail about that? Like, is that anxiety?
Anxiety, really bad anxiety. I've always had like a critic in my head that gives out to me. I thought everyone had that, by the way, but
I have one.
And it's awful, isn't it? Where you're just like, I'm just not good enough. She's going to think you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So you mask that. You're like, no, I'm fine. I'm just going to play this role now. And I'm going to, but more and more I'm like cringing at my own self a lot. Just anxiety about everything. And I hate that because I don't want my children to be like that, or to see me like that. But I'm really honest with my children about everything. I'm really lucky. My husband is my biggest cheerleader. He's literally always there with the little invisible pom-poms telling me, like, he was the first person I ever met that told me, that didn't try and change me, that didn't want to, that like certain aspects of me and wanted to change other parts of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, Trina's exactly the way she's supposed to be. And like, I really actually blossomed when I met him. Like, I really felt like I was a bit of a late bloomer, and like my whole life turned around when I met him, because I had somebody on my team and I could be absolutely
yourself,
exactly the way I am. And he really liked it and he really enjoyed it. And he'll come in the door and there could be anything going on. And he's like, he never knows. And he's really cool with it. And he's I got really lucky with him. It took me a long time to meet him. But we got there in the end, and I would go through it all again, just to get to him, Oh.
Very sweet. I hope you're watching and listening to this, Will. If we go back for a sec to the anxiety and the ADHD, I think it's really interesting. Is it because there's kind of a loud like landscape generally in your head?
Yeah, there's always like two songs playing to start with at the same time.
Yeah.
There's things that are like catching my attention all the time. I find it hard to focus.
Mm-hmm.
I never feel, I don't even like admitting this, but I don't ever feel that I'm good enough. Like, I don't like doing podcasts because I'm like, what do I have to say? Or, people are just going to think, I just feel like, I'll be criticized. I'm already criticizing my own self enough. I don't like it's great writing stuff because you can think about your words, and I can put in a joke and I can put a song in, and I can make it really interesting and enjoyable for the person to read about a beauty product, and I'll give them all the information and I'll entertain them.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. TV as well, I suppose, I can be happy clappy, and then I with the podcast, I feel like we're doing a bit of a therapy session. And people are going to realize just how much, is going on Triona, in there sometimes.
Like I really, really relate so much to everything you're saying. Like the writing, I do the same thing. And I think a lot of people, even if they're not working in the media, will really relate to what you're saying.
Okay.
And I think what I think is so interesting, though, is that we have both chosen careers that we are putting ourselves in front of people, despite having that loud inner critic.
Yeah.
We've both chosen, day jobs where we're making ourselves stand in front of everybody and being online and being on the internet and being on social media. It's fascinating. I don't know why we're doing it.
And I don't know, do I really like it? Like I'm actually quite shy underneath it all, which people find unusual. Like my husband always says that. He's like, if people knew how shy you actually are, the McCarthys and my mum's family were Driscolls, they're kind of shy, And so I have to you have to do things that make you, that you're afraid of, or else you're not living as well. It's very easy to just sit back and not do all the stuff, you know. You have to push yourself and, and so I have that in me.
Yeah.
But I have a shyness as well in me, which my husband thinks is very endearing. But I'm not naturally a show, like as I said, when I was young, you were told, would you sit down and stop making a holy show of yourself, for goodness sake. There was a lot of that in my upbringing. And in the school I went to, it was very much sit back and, don't draw attention to yourself. And yet I've decided to do this where I'm telling everyone everything right here, right now. And I tell people how many spots I have on my bottom, never mind my face and my columns sometimes, I either go over the top and tell everyone everything, or I kind of, get introverted again.
Yeah.
And, hold back or,
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people probably are like that as well,
I think they totally are. And I think that it's really, people love you. People adore watching you. They do. That's just fact. I'm not blowing smoke up anything. I'm being factual. But I think that's because it feels very real. Like you don't, gloss over stuff. You talk about real life. And that is quite unique, actually, in today's day and age, especially on social media.
Yeah, I see a lot of people trotting out the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's like white noise. I kind of just zone out. Like, it's just like, But then I realized that everyone is playing a role sometimes and they, whereas I can't seem to play that role very well.
It's just you.
I'm like, what have I just said now? I'm going to be like coming away from this going, oh my goodness, this is why I don't do podcasts, because I've said how many things I shouldn't have said. I'm not trotting out the lines, but I can't do that, know.
And you shouldn't. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, we're coming near the end, but I cannot let you go without hearing some beauty secrets, because you're sitting in front of me glowing.
Oh God.
Like your skin. I'm like, what moisturizer, what serum, what tweakments? Just tell me the top 5 things I need to go and do to my face, please.
Wow. Well, I think less is more. I really do. I think people are doing far too much. I'm low and slow. And I would put, at my age, you need to put your money into people, not products.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I go to Jane Mulrooney, Dr. Jane in the Mulrooney Clinic.
She's fab.
And I just I get her to tell me, what do I need to do now?
Okay.
And I don't like looking done. I just actually had Botox done yesterday and my fat pads had split. So she put a little bit of filler in there. So I'm probably looking a little bit like a cheeky monkey today. But there's so many things out there that you could do, but I'm not going to do, I can report on them and I can review them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never done polynucleotides because I'm like, I don't really feel like I need them.
Yeah.
I actually feel like I probably, controversial, I feel like I'm probably going to get a facelift because facelifts aren't what they used to be where, I'm looking at people I know, like I've friends in my circle who've had facelifts. So I'm like, this is what we're doing now?
Yeah.
What? But they're not the scary thing that they used to be.
Yeah.
It's come on so much.
I think you do whatever makes you feel good.
You do whatever you want to do.
Your face,
you do,
babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to be said for a good haircut as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And skincare wise, I think people say, what should I be using? What's the best moisturizer? I'm like, whatever you are using, just be consistent. Do your normal, do the cleanse and moisturize or serums.
Yeah.
I put more money into a serum than I would into a moisturizer.
Yeah.
I would, so I love a little bit of Botox. I had a little bit of filler. I definitely feel like the lift is coming. I'm getting very interested in this because there's great treatments for when you're up to 50.
Mm-hmm.
But your bones are getting smaller as you get older.
Yeah.
They're shrinking.
Yeah.
And so it's like a table with a tablecloth over it. The table's getting smaller and the tablecloth is getting bigger. So the only thing to do is flip and cut that tablecloth. So that's where I'm heading next. You're going to see me. Watch out, Kris Jenner. There's another Chris McCarthy is going to be heading for Hollywood. I started looking into, what's his name? Levine, Dr. Levine.
Yes.
Oh my God, the price. There's another guy in the UK.
It's like a mortgage.
Hers done with. And I'm like, how much? But there's all the boring things you have to do as well. Like a consistent skincare routine. I'm not mad for drinking water. I know you should, but as my mother said, nobody was drinking water when I was young. Like there were people out in the fields and they didn't have bottles of water hanging off them.
Yeah.
And they were all grand.
Yeah.
And
do you take any supplements?
There's a lot of rubbish supplements out there, I have to say, but there are some good ones as well.
Yeah.
So I'm sometimes like, what are they? Like there's rubbish out there, but there are some really good ones.
Some really important, great ones.
Yes.
Like Revive Active.
Yeah. Exactly. They are great.
Mm.
I take melatonin because I'm not good at winding down or going to sleep.
Yeah.
I kind of go back. Sometimes I'm like, I'll do absolutely nothing. And then I'll be like, I need every supplement in the world and I'll do my research and I will find what I think is the best again.
Uh-huh.
And I do a deep dive and I'm like,
laser focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm like, woohoo, I'm on it again. And I'm mad for it. And I'm bouncing out of bed in the morning. Yeah. And then it all goes to shit again. And then I'm picking myself back up,
Sounds very familiar.
Yes.
I have one final question that I ask everybody. What do you hope Maxie and Minnie are learning from watching you navigate the world?
Oh my goodness. If I'd read the questions or listened to the podcast beforehand, I would have some amazing answer to
I want a really deep, philosophical, beautiful answer, please.
What are Maxie and Minnie learning from watching me?
Can I suggest what I think maybe? Yeah. Learning to do something you love and to work hard at it and to laugh. Yeah. To have a bit of fun and be yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And outsource as much as you can to other people. I love it.
Amazing.
Oh, thank you. That was brilliant. That was a good end to that podcast. And
thank you so much
for
Triona.
Dealing with all the madness. And
wasn't that
you're
mad.
Incredible, Dominique.
No, you're incredible. Thank you so much. Give me a hug. That's where we have to leave it for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please do hit the follow button and do all of those things, like and subscribe. Most importantly, tell a mom about us. It helps us reach new audiences that we know would love to hear these stories.
I want to take a moment to thank the brands that make the Motherload possible. IMAGE The Motherload is powered by Peugeot and sponsored by Liffey Valley, Avoca, Revive Active, Optimal Advanced and Tigers Childcare.
And we recorded here in the beautiful Hoxton Hotel in Dublin.